Hello everyone! Today we will be reviewing the parts of a division problem. So the objective today is to be able to identify the dividend, divisor, and the quotient in a given division problem. So let's get started on our first example here. The first example will be read as 16 divided by 8. So 16 is the number that is being divided. So that would make 16 our dividend. So the dividend is our total, and it's the number in the problem that is being divided. So 16 is the dividend. So we're splitting the 16 into 8 groups. So our divisor is the number in the problem that does the dividing. So for this problem, our divisor would be 8. So the 8 tells us how many groups we're going to be splitting it into. So we know that we're splitting the 16 into 8 groups. So looking at 16, we know that's our total. And we can think about division in terms of multiplication. So we can think 8 times what equals 16. And knowing our times tables, we know that 8 times 2 equals 16. So we're going to put our 2 up there, and that makes the 2 the quotient of our problem. So the quotient of any given division problem is always going to be the answer to that problem. So the quotient is the answer to a division problem. So reviewing this problem, we know that 16 is our dividend, and that's the number that's going to be divided. We know that 8 is our divisor, and that's the number that's going to do the divising. And we know that the 2 is a quotient because that is our answer that we got. Let's take a look at another problem. Alright, so for this problem, we have 20 divided by 5. So looking at this with our previous knowledge, we know that 20 would be our dividend for this problem because that's the number that is going to be divided. And we know that 5 is going to be the divisor because that's how many groups we're going to be splitting 20 into, and that's the number that's going to be doing the dividing. So, just like we did for the last problem, we're going to think about this in terms of multiplication. So we know that our total is going to be 20. So we have to think 5 times what equals 20. And knowing multiplication again, we know that 5 times 4 equals 20. So we're going to put 4 up at the top, and that is going to be our quotient for it. Alright, so 4 would be the quotient, 5 would be the divisor, and 20 would be the dividend for this problem. So finally, we're going to look at just a review. So we know the dividend is the number that is being divided in the problem. So it's usually going to be the total of the problem. The divisor is the number that does the dividing. So how many groups are we splitting that into? And the quotient is always the answer in a division problem. So looking at what the answer is. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.